Hello, everyone. My name is Brooke. I'm the founder of My LA Therapy, and this is part two of important things to look for in a therapist. If you didn't catch the first video, I go over the basics, and this is the more advanced things to think about and look for. Um, the first thing that we're going to talk about today is that your therapist embodies a presence that you would strive to emulate yourself. So I know many years ago when I was in therapy, I had a therapist, and she was smart and she was okay, but it was like I felt like she was very rigid in the way that she held herself and kind of cold in certain ways and restrained. And that wasn't really kind of who I strived to be or do strive to be. And so I find it really important that we have teachers that are actually embodying what they talk about, not just talking about it, that the energy that they're giving off is in line with the concepts. So we talk about authenticity, we talk about warmth, we talk about openness, but often, as therapists, we can get into our heads and try to be so professional that we're not actually practicing what we preach. So that would be the first thing to think about in our second version of this conversation. The second thing is that you really want your therapist to go beyond the intellectual. Of course, there is a place for the mind in the therapy process. We look at cognitive behavioral therapy looks at our thoughts and the ways they create constructs and meaning and how they can contribute to depression, anxiety, relationship issues, etc. And that's wonderful, but that's not the only piece of the puzzle. The intellectual can only take us so far. We really have to work with the experiential, the unconscious, and the body. The body is the landscape of the unconscious, and if we are not working with the body, we're missing a vital piece of the puzzle. So working with someone who understands the limitations of the intellect, how to work with the intellect, but also how to work with other aspects of the psyche and access other aspects of the psyche is really important as well. And finally, this is extremely important, is your therapist needs to be willing to be wrong, willing to admit their limitations, willing to be confronted and challenged. If your therapist thinks that they know everything about everything and have all the answers, and if something they do upsets you and you confront them and they get defensive, that's a really bad sign. We as therapists really need to be constantly learning and growing ourselves and humbly acknowledging that we don't have all the answers. We have life experience, we have skills, we have training, but the therapy process is a collaboration and it's a dialogue between two people who both have incredible wisdom and insight. And we want to be careful not to get too much into the kind of like guru culture where the therapist has all the answers, and instead of teaching a person to fish, we give the person a fish. It's like, I have the answers and let me bestow my wisdom upon you. Rather, we really want to teach you as the client to access your own intuition and inner wisdom. And that's teaching you to fish rather than just giving you a fish. So if a therapist isn't willing to have some humility, be challenged, be willing to apologize if they've said something or done something that hurt you, or be willing to collaborate about what's not working in a relationship, then that's probably not the best fit. You really want to find someone where if they do, there's been so many times where a client has told me that some of the most important parts of our work together were when something I said hurt them or landed the wrong way, and they were able to share that with me. And I apologized, and I took responsibility, and I tried to be more aware in the future. And that was an extremely valuable process for them to be able to voice their feelings and hurt, and to be heard. And that reparation is a big part of creating trust and safety in relationships. And when we create that in the therapeutic relationship, we can begin to carry that into our other relationships, that same kind of safety and ability to express our needs and feelings, and and make sure that people in our lives care about them and are receptive to them. So that was part 2 of what to look for in a therapist. If you have any questions, you can call or email us. Our website is mylatherapy.com and our handle is @mylatherapy.